Page 36, what passed over the Johnson.
Go on a piece he's playing there, Derek, and he's ready to go then. 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes now left on an interview he's playing at the moment. So. basically seconds away now from. He's talking. I don't know who the lad is. He's talking about championship here and the thing anyway. It's better this year. That's it. There we go. Fergal Monaghan, yeah. A very good evening, Kevin. Thank you very much. Welcome along to RSA Vreen here in Lennon Brothers Pierce Park, where we have a packed house here of delegates from all the clubs who are eagerly awaiting their fate for the 2025 various championships. I'm joined by still the new county chairman, I suppose, Derek Fahy. Derek, it's your first year here involved in the draws as chairperson. You've been involved for many years, of course, but it's your first year. And how is it going for you so far as in your first year at the helm here in Longford?
So far, John, I suppose it's like any new job. You're starting to find your feet, and thankfully we're settling in well into the role now. It's taking over, even though you might have been involved for years and years. Stepping up to the role of chairperson is a challenging role, and one that I've looked forward to for a couple of years, and I'm embracing it. So I'd like to think we're getting on fairly well with it at the moment. But first of all, I'd like to welcome all our Shannonside listeners here to our championship draws tonight, and indeed those that are looking live on Longford TV. It's always an exciting night at county board meetings when you hold your championship draw. So I'd like to welcome all that are tuning in here tonight.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Derek. Well, and it's a night that we look forward to as well in covering it year after year, because there's always the question I know it's the question always been asked me, when is the draws on? I'm looking forward to listening to it to see who are we getting on. So obviously all the different teams, you're going to have 4 draws, is it tonight? You have Hurling, Junior, Intermediate and Senior. Yeah,
that's correct, John. And I suppose since our March meeting when we set out our championship and our structures, I suppose tonight is the night that everybody has been looking forward to. We're coming towards the end of our leagues, and of course our championship draws tonight will give clubs that extra incentive, I suppose, to prepare for our upcoming championships, which normally commence around the middle to third week in July, John. So yeah, it is a great night, and it's an exciting night. And I suppose really and truly for everybody just looking on and listening at home, even players tuning in, tonight what it's really all about.
Yeah,
who
indeed.
We playing in the championship.
I'll talk to Peter O'Reilly, your secretary, shortly about the formats for the various championships in a moment. But before we get to that, the fact that you are starting off as a new chairman, I suppose, we can't help, I suppose, but look back on the league for Longford, and it has been disappointing. There's no question or doubt about that. From a Longford minor point of view, they're in a Longford All-Ireland final, which is a very positive thing for the future, I suppose. But from a Longford point of view, the senior champions will be doing the draw here tonight. Senior champions haven't won a game. We'll be aware of that since the Mullineuchta's brilliant Leinster Championship win back in 2018. So have you any plans to lift the boat to try and rise the tide as such of Longford football? Because I suppose things are at a low ebb at the moment.
Yeah, well look, first of all I'd like to wish our minors every success on Saturday in the All-Ireland C competition against Wicklow in Tullamore. And obviously at county senior board level, look, games haven't been going well, but look, we are in the process of rebuilding. We have lost a lot of players in recent months. Some stalwarts that have been around Longford GAA for a considerable amount of time, some great leaders in that as well. So I suppose Longford, we have to go through that rebuilding process, John, and it's something that we need to look at over the next couple of years, is how we can actually develop our players, I suppose, at club level and indeed at inter-county level as well, to progress for county teams. So yeah, look, it is disappointing with our results. We've had a difficult league, and we've had a very difficult Tarleton Cup as well. But then I suppose, from a Longford point of view and looking at it, like realistically speaking, what chances have a Division 4 team got of winning a Tarleton Cup, And I think that maybe that's something that the GAA and Croke Park headquarters should be looking at, the Tarleton Cup in particular, to give, I suppose, like Longford, and they talk about development counties in hurling for years, but really Division 4 and National League are development football counties now, John. So I think maybe it's time for the GAA to look at at Division 4 teams with a realistic prospect of winning some competition.
And so are you calling for a third tier championship to be introduced, Derek, or are you calling for more teams at the top end of the likes of the Kildares, the lower Division 2 teams who can end up in Tailteann Cup and be very strong, and thus giving the Division 4 teams really no chance? So are you calling for the Sam Maguire to be increased in numbers or the Tailteann Cup to be reduced and a third tier introduced?
Well, I suppose what I am saying, John, is I suppose those teams that are coming down, realistically speaking, are the teams that are going to compete for this every year. So I think structures need to be looked at definitely in terms of providing meaningful competition for Division 4 teams and most of the teams in Division 3 as well, if we're realistic.
Well, so yeah, really, I suppose you've very politically evaded the actual question of whether you want one or the other.
I suppose as a new chairman of a county committee, John, I have to be.
In fairness,
in fairness.
Well, in fairness to you, you have called for it to be looked at anyway and restructured in some way. I suppose, is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's honest enough.
Okay,
John.
that's fair to say. Now, talk about restructuring as well, and I suppose Albert Cooney, the former chairman for 5 years, I suppose he'll look back, or people will look back at his legacy and say that, well, there was a huge tract of land acquired by Longford GAA, and that's a hugely positive thing to have happened in the last year or so behind the stand here in Lennon Brothers Pierce Park to develop what would hope will be a centre of excellence. Can you tell us what this is something that's going to be under your watch, obviously, for the next number of years? So tell us what your plans are for that.
Yeah, look, and in fairness to our outgoing committee of 2024, we acquired a fantastic piece of ground adjoining Pierce Park here. It's almost 32 acres in total, and I suppose my role since I became involved was trying to source people from a business community both within Longford and outside of it, GA people as well within Longford and outside of it. And what I'm trying to do, John, is put a group of people together for a round the table discussion in terms of the training ground and how we can actually progress it. I suppose it's something that Longford need badly, I suppose, and I suppose when we go to other counties and we see the facilities that they have, we are lacking a bit. So I'm hoping we have a round the table discussion on the 9th of June, John. I don't want to give away too much on the people and that are involved, but the plan is to kick it off on that particular night, look and see what the feel is within the room, generate a bit of excitement, and then start putting a plan in place in terms of, the conversation around budgets, costs, feasibilities, consultation, grants, construction, all that type of stuff. So my plan is to kind of put a steering committee across the board, John, and put some sort of subgroups in place underneath them. So it will be exciting times for Longford GAA. So I hope in the not too distant future that we can come back here with a project plan and a development plan, and that we can put it to the county committee here and generate a bit of excitement for the clubs and indeed for Longford itself. So that's as much information that I'm going to give you at the moment, John. But we are working strongly on it.
In fairness, it sounds like, Derek, to be honest, it sounds like you have a lot of the background work already completed. You haven't been idle since you've been appointed chairperson. No,
definitely not, John. You don't have time to be idle in a job like this. And I do feel that I have a right mix of people from construction, GA, even members of our management committee, Club Longford, our sponsors. So we have a good mix involved. So as I say, hopefully we can get a feel for the room, generate a bit of excitement, and then start getting into the nitty-gritty of planning a proposed project for the development of our training.
Absolutely, and you say that'll create a bit of excitement, of course, and hopefully. And so to get back to the football, I suppose, as well, are you planning something similar in the football end of it development?
I suppose, anybody that comes in, let it be club chairman or let it be county board chairman or whatever, also always try and put some sort of structures in place, let it be club or county, to try and improve football and indeed hurling within those counties. And yes, John, it is something I've been looking at in terms of and I've had discussions with our County Secretary Peter Riley in recent weeks as well about creating a strategic plan for Longford. It has been a long time since we've had our last plan, so it's certainly something. I have also acquired, I suppose, the services of a former president of the GAA as well, who is more than willing to help us out in this as well. So now we need to get the right people in Longford to assist that and put a strategic plan in place for the development of football, our county teams, our training squads, our athletic development programme, and indeed our training centre and development plan. So hopefully, John, it'll be a plan that incorporates all the and of course we have to plan for the future as well in terms of the other units of the association, the LGFA and the handball and so on that we have as well. So it's as you said, we haven't been idle, and hopefully we can.
Well, certainly not. So when people out there, I suppose, do ask what are they doing in there, they're certainly, well, they're getting a flavour of what is going on and what is going to be going on in Longford GAA. You're certainly not taking defeat or the various defeats lying down, and there are going to be plans in place, and these things don't happen overnight, of course, as we all know. I think now maybe we could call on Peter to calm down, and we'll go through the championships if that's all right. Have you anything else you'd like to cover there, Derek?
No, John, no. Look, I'm sure we'll touch back in the championship later on, and we've had great championships here. But I'd like to thank our sponsors of our championships, our senior championship, Peter Hanley. He's been with us since I think 2007 or 8, so he's been with us a long time. Peter's never found wanting when it comes to the sport of Longford GAA. Our intermediate championship is again by Milady's group, so we thanked him, and our junior championship has been sponsored by the Rust again, and again this year we have a new junior championship cup in memory of the late Seamus Flynn, who has been a great Gael, great Longford supporter, played with Longford, great service to his clubs throughout his year. So it's very fitting, I think, that Seamus passed away in the last year and a half, and it's very fitting that we have our junior championship renamed after Seamus Flynn here tonight. So indeed, it was done out in Lanesborough, I suppose, as well, in what became his hometown, having won, I think, 8 championships with Clongish, senior championships with Clongish way back, and maybe a championship in London. And before he finished up, after winning the 8 senior championships and of course a National Football League and a Leinster Championship with Longford, and finished up in 1984 with the Junior Championship with Rathline in 1984, and I see the badge or the name is on it here, Rathline 1984. So he certainly was a huge servant. Then to become a Leinster delegate after for the county board. Oh, absolutely, and I suppose like everything else in the GAA, when you get involved in the GAA or clubs or county board or teams, I suppose there's no real mechanism to get out, John. So Seamus just kept going and settled in Lanesborough and played with his beloved Rathline and won a junior championship. And I'm sure the lads here have great stories and great memories to talk. Anyone that knew Seamus always has a story about Seamus, and now that his name will be on the Junior Championship Cup, those stories will live for a long, long time to come, and so that is very fitting, as you say. Derek, we'll talk to you maybe a little bit later on. Thank you very much, Chairman of Longford County Board, Derek Bahill. And now I'm joined here by Peter O'Reilly. You're the secretary here at Longford for many years, and of course the expert now on the formats for the championship. You can tell us here, we'll start off, we're going to have the Hurling Championship first of all. There's just 3 teams in it, and tell us the format, Peter.
Yeah, the Hurling Championship takes pride of place, starting our draws for 2025, and it's for the JJ Degnan Cup, and we have 3 hurling clubs in the county. We have Clongish Gaels, Longford Slashers and Wolf Tones. So the format for this draw is the first team out will have a bye, and then it's 2 versus 3, and the loser of that 2 versus 3 will play the bye team then in the following round.
Thanks very much, Peter. Okay, I think that's clear anyway. The second draw this evening will be the Rustic Inn Junior A Championship. I believe there will be a Junior B and C Championship draws that may or may not take place tonight, but we won't be doing them live on air, isn't that correct?
Yeah, there are a Junior B and a Junior C Championship, and there are 12 teams in total taking part between them 2 competitions, and the format and that has been roughly decided. But we're just not in a position to do it tonight. So but the Rustic Inn Junior A Championship will proceed tonight, the draw for it, and you have 6 teams there. League and Sarsfields, of course, being the sole junior club.
You have Columkill, Longford Stashers, Kilo, Clongish, and this year Carrick Edmond have decided to take the step up in with their second team into the Junior A Championship.
Yeah, about a month ago or so, CCC were pushing to try and get an additional team into the Junior A Championship. Last year's winners, Grattans, have gone up to intermediate on foot of our bylaw. Okay. So Carrick Edmond have graciously accepted the request to move up to junior, and they're the sixth team in it. The format for that is 6 teams all in one group, so they'll have 5 games each, and the top 4 teams after that 5 games will be in the semi-finals of the competition. And at the other end of it, the bottom league team, if it is not the sole junior team, will be relegated to Junior B.
Excellent, that's clear, and will become clear as we do the draws, of course. And then we'll move on, when we have that one done, we'll move on to the Milady Group Intermediate Football Championship. Always a very competitive, or for the past number of years has been very competitive championship. You have 8 teams there. You have Keena, who have come down from senior, having won the intermediate 2 years ago. They were unfortunately relegated from senior back to intermediate. They'll be joined by Sean Connolly's, the runners-up for the last 2 years. St. Bridget's Killishee, recent winners as well, of course. Grattan Oak, the junior champions. Then the other pretenders to the crown are Ballymore, Ardamaidu, Cashel, and of course Ballymahon, bringing up the 8 teams. Tell us the format there, Peter.
8 teams, 2 groups of 4, and the top 2 teams in each group then will take part in the semi-finals. So that'll be 4 of the teams going into semi-finals. The bottom 4 teams, in a change from previous years, will go into a round-robin group with the resulting 2 teams after them 3 games in the round-robin. They will be relegated to intermediate. Okay. And this is all part of our decision at a previous county board meeting to change the numbers of teams that are in each championship, and over a 2-year period the senior championship will revert from 12 teams down to 10. And there will be similar movement in the intermediate.
Intermediate will go to?
It'll come down to 6 eventually.
6?
Yeah.
And then you'll have a few junior clubs then?
Exactly.
10 and 6, 16,
yeah,
so you could have 5 in the junior then, is that right?
Yeah, depending on what amount of senior teams want to put in second streams into the junior.
Yeah, but you'll have 5 sole junior teams. Correct. At that stage. Yeah, very good. And then of course the big one, the Peter Hanley Motors Longford Senior Football Championship, 12 teams, same as last year. I know you're saying it will reduce over the next 2 years to 10 teams, with 2 being relegated, 1 being promoted for the next 2 years. Abilara, of course, the holders. Columkill, the runners-up last year. Kilo and Clongish, of course, the runners-up, I think, in the semi-finals, if I'm right. Mullinlock, Granard, Rathline, Dramard, Longford Slashers, Mostrim, Carrick Edmond, and Father Manning Gales, last year's intermediate champions, will all be vying to win the Sean Connolly Cup for 2025. And tell us quickly, I suppose, the format, as it hasn't changed really from last year.
Yes, slight changes in it, in that the 2 finalists from last year, Abilara and Columkill, will be seeded, one in Group A and one in Group B. The 2 losing semi-finalists, Mullinlock to St. Columbus and Kilo Oak, will take part in Group A and Group B, 1 to each group, and the rest of it then is an open draw, and the quarter-final pairings have been predetermined, as in the winners of Group 1 will play Team 4 and Group 2, and as would be the usual down the line from there. The big difference, I suppose, this year is that the relegation playoffs will be the bottom 2 teams from each group, and normally we would have only played a semi-final. The loser of them 2 semi-finals, crossover semi-finals, would have been relegated. But this year we're playing a round-robin group for the 4 teams, and after 3 further games, the resulting 2 bottom teams will be relegated to intermediate.
And I suppose the thinking behind that is well, it's very obvious that the weaker 2 teams should be relegated, regardless of the groupings won't affect the relegation.
It shouldn't. At that stage, whoever is relegated will have played 8 games,
yes,
and the results will have determined that they were relegated.
So a very fair system, and nobody can complain then, I suppose. Obviously the sadness, but they can't complain that they aren't the weaker team. So
that brings it down to 11-team championship then next year, and just subsequently it will be down to 10.
2 again and 1 now. No, that's it. So I think we're ready to proceed with the hurling draw. If you're happy enough, Peter, that everything's in order, I can assure you that Colin Murray is conducting the affairs here and has people lined up here to do the hurling draws. I know that he has 3 teams, as I said, as you mentioned there already, the Longford Slashers, Wolf Tones and Clongish in the hurling are in the hurling pot here in front of me. Peter Hanley from Clongish and Pádraig McGrath from Carrick Edmond have acted on as the Stokes Kennedy Crowley, I suppose, of this system to make sure that the 3 different teams are in the pot, and indeed they've done that on all the other draws as well. And Colm has made sure that all the labels are in. Tommy Hawes, first of all, he's the chairperson of the hurling committee. Maybe we'll have a quick word with Tommy. Tommy, hurling, I suppose it's an ongoing struggle to keep numbers out for the county team and indeed to have just 3 teams.
It is, John, but I suppose when I took over this year, I suppose as chairman, it's not an easy task. But look at I was involved with the calling to the senior team this year. Myself and Breen, and with a great manager in there, Dermot, and we unfortunately lost the Maher the campaign, and didn't get to where we wanted. But I suppose we came in late. But I think we've a young squad coming. There's good talent there. Our minors are in a Celtic Challenge final, and our under 15s are going well. But that won't deter us from the plan we have ahead. And with only 3 teams still in Longford, where the underage is going well, the Rathcline there are setting up, and Dramard and that's where we're building from. And whether the doubters have that we won't, we're going strong there, and it's my brief that we will get to where we want to get.
Well done, Tommy, and from little acorns oak trees grow. So thank you very much. Tommy Hawes, chairperson of Longford Hurling Committee, and we're about to go here. And Colm, I think you have 2 people organised here to do the draws. Sean Kelly and TJ Ward, Sean Kelly of Keena and TJ Ward, former county chairman, of course, from Legan, and they're going to do the draw. So again, Peter is overseeing it here. So the first team out has a bye, isn't that correct? I think that's what Peter said. So Sean, if you want to draw a team out here for the hurling. So this is hurling. Remember, it's Wolf Tones from Edgeworthstown, and it's Clongish and Longford Slashers. So the team with the bye, the rest week, first of all, I think it's Clongish. Clongish, indeed, Clongish Gales our Clongish hurlers will have that the bye week. So obviously, just if you wanted TJ, we better make sure that they had the 3 teams in them and take them out here to make sure that these are the right teams that are in. And you have drawn out Flippadori Longford Slashers. And Sean, if you can confirm that the 3rd team is, hopefully it's Wolf Tones. We're in trouble. Wolf Tones indeed from Edgeworthstown. So Wolf Tones and Longford Slashers will play in the opening round. The loser of that game then will proceed to play Clongish in a semi-final. Isn't that correct, Peter Riley? I'm looking for inspiration here. I think that's what it is. And then the 2 obviously will play in a final then. So it's in order to make sure that there's it's a 3 team. So it's difficult to have a championship that's meaningful.
It's very difficult, but in the hope is that the losing team will keep in it. Like if we go any other route, we could potentially finish up with a dead rubber.
So everybody has 2 games and 2 meaningful games indeed. Yeah, that's great, Peter. Thanks very much. So Colm is quickly at work here, and so we're getting ready now for the Junior A Football Championship, sponsored by the Rustic Inn. Again, we have TJ Ward's home club, or club indeed, Legan Sarsfields, the sole junior club. They'll be hoping that they can get their hands back on what's now the Seamus Flynn Memorial Cup for the first time in a couple of years. They won it a few years ago, not long ago at all. Colm Kill's 2nd team, Longford Slashers 2nd team, Killo's 2nd team, Clongish's 2nd team, and as we've heard, it's Carrick Edmond's 2nd team, and they are going into the draw here. So, and it's a straight. This is a straight round of 3 first round games, isn't that it, Peter?
Yeah, 6 teams. So it'll be 5 rounds when it's finished up. So each club will have 5 games. So
Ronan Muldoon and Michael Burke. Ronan Muldoon of Cashel, Michael Burke of Mostram are coming here to do the draw, and they can. Well, you can do it this side of the table, absolutely. And Ronan is the draw. Yes. We're going to put them into the cup, into the Seamus Flynn Memorial Cup. We'll give them a bit of a shake around here, and what a fine cup it is. It's been around for quite a while. So Ronan Muldoon from Cashel will draw the first team out, and of course the draw then, this is the first round draw, and it's as you mentioned, top 4 play in semi-finals now. We've just decided that tonight. That was a change made earlier on. So the first team out is Slipperdory Longford Slashers, and Michael Burke will draw the team that Longford Slashers team. That's Longford Slashers second team in the first game, round 1, and they will play. Michael Burke has it here. Clongish second team. So a nice local derby there in the junior championship. Clongish and Longford Slashers. Ronan now is off again here. We're up and running here. This is the Rustigin Junior A Championship. Carrigadman newly into the Junior A Championship. Carrigadman second team will play. Let's see now. Is it a local derby? Michael Burke from Edgertown here throwing it out. It's against Emmett Kilo second team. So 2 strong teams there. Division 1 teams now doing well in the league. So they'll have lots of good players now on show in that one. That's for certain. Let's see now. Columkill team who have contested several Junior A championships over the last few years with their second team, and indeed I can remember them winning one not that long ago. So they will play in the opening round. They will play the Seoul junior team, Legan Sarsfields. So that's a good tough opener for the Seoul junior team, Legan Sarsfields. So Legan Sarsfields and Columkill. And that should be it. There's nobody else left in it. So there you have the 3 of them. And Peter, you have just written them down there. It's very important that you have them anyway. I suppose you're the man that will be making sure these fixtures take place. So where are we here now? Longford Slashers versus Clongish. Carrigadman versus Kilo, and Columkill versus Legan Sarsfields. And you have a format then to do the second round, etc. from that.
Yeah, there's a system that is used, a national system, so we feed them in as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it populates all the other rounds from there on out.
So you don't know if I'm looking at it there who Longford Slashers will play in the second round?
No, but I'll tell you that tomorrow.
All right, okay, well I'll put you totally on the spot. All right, so Colum is now getting ready for the Intermediate Football Championship draw, so we're moving on swiftly along now. Intermediate Championship draw will be conducted, or will the balls will be taken out by Patsy Lynch of Abilara and Louis Skelly from Rathline. So, and we have them coming now, and we're going to put them into the Jerry Hennessy Cup. Into the Jerry Hennessy Cup, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams in, and it's 2 groups of 4, isn't that correct?
Yep. So
there's no seeding here.
No seeding, so each one that's pulled goes into a bowl, and we do the draw then after.
Each one into a bowl, and then we do a draw.
So then afterwards. So
Louis takes one out, and that goes into bowl on my left. We'll not look at them yet, and just one over and back, and there'll be 4 in each bowl, in 2 bowls here. So when they're finished, so it's a look at the draw as to who you end up with here. And Patsy and Louis, and we should have 4 now at this stage. Yes, indeed. So we have 4 in each. And now, Louis, do you want to open one of them there? So
this is Group A.
This is Group A. So, and are we doing the draw? We're going to Group A. We have Grattan Og, and Patsy draws out who out of the same bowl, who Grattan Og will play in the first round. And it is Ardamaidu. So Grattan Og and Ardamaidu. Louis goes ahead with the next one. So it's Grattan Og versus Ardamaidu, and in this one, it's I can see here now, Niamh Bridget Killashee. St. Bridget's Killashee will play Sean Conley's. Sean Conley's probably, fair to say, Sean Conley's will be the favourites for this championship, but maybe Keena and Killashee they all have something to say about that. So that's one group. So 2 of those will be in a semi-final. Sean Conley's, Killashee, Grattan Og, and Ardamaidu. So let's go with Group 2, or Group B, is it, Peter?
Group B,
Group B. And Group B will have the other 4 teams, but let's see how they're going to play in the first round anyway. And it is Louis Skelly's neighbours, Cashel. Let's see who Patsy Lynch from the other side of the county drawn out. And he has drawn his neighbours, Ballymore. So well done, Patsy and Louis. So Ballymore versus Cashel in the first round of the Milady Group Intermediate Football Championship. And the other game in that group you'll already know, Keena Keena is drawn, and those of you who are watching carefully or listening carefully will know that they have to play their neighbours Ballymahon in the first round. So there'll be lots of interest in the very first round of the Milady Group Intermediate Football Championship, that's for sure. So if you want to quickly recap there, Peter.
Yeah, Group A is Grapples versus Ardamaidu, St Bridget's Killashee versus Sean Connolly. Group B is Cashel versus Ballymore, and Keena versus Ballymahon.
And that's some very interesting games there, so there is, Peter.
Yeah, there's some very, very interesting games.
Indeed, as I said, we might speak to Frank Reynolds in a moment from Sean Connolly's, because they have probably been very close in the last couple of years, but just be hoping to get across the line, I suppose, for 2025 in the intermediate. Now we're going to move on to the big one, the Peter Hanley Motors Longford Senior Football Championship. And we have, of course, 12 teams. So maybe while Colin is getting those ready, we'll have Frank Reynolds. Is Frank there to call up? Oh, Frank is here beside me, yeah. So Frank, what do you think of the intermediate championship draw there?
Well, I suppose like previous years, John, it's a very competitive game, or a very competitive competition as we have gathered over the last number of years. We're knocking on the door there, so we'd be hoping come 2025 the lads are preparing well to just get it over the line.
And how is your league going?
Excuse me. The new league is going so. Of course, we'll be depleted from the lads playing with the county. You could say that's a positive in one sense. We're well represented there at county level, and that left us depleted. But sure, look, to be sad to think that you go down to Division 3 for a team that was in the Division Patsy Riley Cup and the intermediate final last year, so we'll be hoping.
Have your county boys back now for the next few games, I suppose.
We'll be hoping to have them back, yeah.
And hoping now, your hopes for the intermediate, I suppose it's championship really is what it's all about from a Connolly's point of view this year, is it?
Oh, of course it is, yeah, that's what should be. Back knocking on the door again and hoping it'll open this time, And
backboned by, had you 5 on the county panel
well,
this year?
We had 4 on the football team, and then our captain from the club is Evan Tully. Evan is the captain of the senior county hurlers.
Yeah. So it's a fair depletion when you take 5 out of an intermediate team, I suppose.
Well, it's a third-year team, John, so that's a big bite in a small club.
It is, but then it's a huge advantage to have them back for the intermediate championship.
Well, that's the other side, if they avoid injury, of course.
Of course, and listen, sure, look at, I suppose after losing 2 finals, you'll take nothing for granted this year.
No, you said it, as we said already, and you said in your interview, that it's a very tight competition.
It's a very tight competition. Who do you see your main contenders coming after yourselves?
Well, sure, look, it'd be hard to single out anybody. Yourself, championship, they're the last number of years, so you'd be hoping you perform, but I wouldn't like to single out any particular club. There's very little between them.
There's very little between them. Frank Reynolds not giving anything away from Sean Connolly's there. Thank you very much, Frank, for joining us in any case, and well done, and the best of luck to Sean Connolly's and to all the teams in the Intermediate Football Championship, the Milady Group Intermediate Football Championship. Colin is ready, I think. He has 12 teams now he has 12 teams in somewhere anyway, in the bowls. He's going to put them into the Sean Connolly Cup, I think. And, we're going to put in, of course, it's the 2 finalists from last year. Obviously, the champions, Abilara, and the runners-up, Columkill. They're in the cup first to see which group. They're seeded into 2 groups. So Anthony Dooner is going to come with the first draw in any case, and Anthony Dooner and James McLaughlin from Ardamaidu. So Anthony from Killashee, will you do the honours? This is just 2 in the bowl now. There's the finalists, and 1 goes into bowl A, 1 goes into bowl B. We do know that those 2 teams are Columkill and Abilara. Now you're putting 2 runners up, the loser semi-finalists, and they are
Kilo and
Mullinyochta. So Anthony Dooners puts 1 into bowl A, and I'm getting James is putting 1 into bowl B. So now we know that they're separating anyway. Now there should be 8 more going in, and I can confirm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 8 more teams. So now again, just separate those lads. Anthony takes 1 out, James takes another, and into the 2 different bowls, and then all will be revealed very, very shortly here. This is the Peter Hanley Motors Longford Senior Football Championship draw for 2025. There will be 6 teams that will end up in each bowl here, as the lads separate them. 1 goes left and 1 goes right, and this could determine the fate of some of your senior teams here in Longford for 2025. So here we go. We have 2 bowls. We have 6 teams in each bowl. We'll give them a little bit of a shake up, and we're going to go ahead with draw 1. So Anthony,
Bowl
work
one.
away out of Bowl A.
A.
And here we have, let's see, first game. Well, it may not be. It's Emmet-Ogue, of course. Emmet-Ogue, one of the favourites. Hard to know who the favourites are this year. Abilara, I suppose, will be one of the favourites, very much the favourites. But in the first round, Emmet-Ogue will play from Group B.
Group A.
From Group A, it's all in Group A. We'll play Granard. Neighbour of Granard. This is still, we're going to stay with Group A, yeah. So Emmet-Ogue and Granard, and they'll play in the first game. Dromard, my own club, will play in the first round. So the fourth team in Group A. And Dromard will play Mostrim, Edgeworthstown, and sympathies to the Mostrim club who are going through a hard week this week. We sympathise with the O'Hara family tonight, and we're all thinking of them here tonight. Anthony Dooner is going now to take the fifth team from this Group A, and it's Columkill. So definitely I'm looking forward to a few games in this group already. Columkill will play the last team in the group, Carrick-Edmond, by the hooky. There's nothing simple about that group anyway. And thanks to Anthony and James, and they'll go ahead now in a moment with out of the other group. So basically you have Carrick-Edmond, Columkill, Dromard, Mostrim, and Granard and Killaloe. That's Group A. Group B now, and remember the top four teams in each group go into the quarter-finals, with the bottom two going into relegation playoffs. Longford Slashers are the first team out in Group B, and Longford Slashers in the first game will play. Let's see who it is from James. It's playing local derby, Clongish. Longford Slashers and Clongish in the opening game. It may have been the opening game last year as well, I'm not sure, if I seem to recall early in the championship anyway. Now, next team out is Mullinloughlin, the Leinster champions of 2018, and of course 4 senior championships I think it is in recent times. So Mullinloughlin in their first game, they'll play Rathcline all the way over from north to south. Lanesborough, Rathcline-based Rathcline will play Mullinloughlin in the first game. And the next team out is Monasterlara, Peter O'Reilly's home club, and of course the current county champions, Abilara. And Abilara, there should only be one team left in it, so those eagle-eared and eyed will know that they are playing the intermediate champions of 2024 in the first round. So senior versus intermediate champions, it's Father Manning Gales. Father Manning Gales and Abilara, what battles they've had over the years. Peter, your initial reaction to that there? Group 1 and Group 2. Or Group
Very,
A and
very
Group B?
strong Group 1. So it looks that way, and I think we had something similar in last year. So we had in the grouping, so we had there's some very local derbies in it. Many local derbies in it as the rounds go on. So you'll have Columkill playing Dromard at a later stage. You'll have Emmet-Ogue, Columkill, Dromard all playing each other, and Mostrim, Carrick-Edmond, another local derby. So it is. So there's lots of local derbies. There's lots for everyone
Certainly
to watch.
when I go home tonight there'll be nobody saying that I did any favours anyway, Peter.
Well, you can't be accused of being biased for.
Very tough.
I won't finish the sentence.
A very tough group. A very tough group. Emmet-Ogue, Granard, Dromard, Mostrim, Columkill and Carrick-Edmond, while Group B will be Longford Slashers, Clongish, Mullinloughlin, Rathline, and Abilara and Father Manning Gale. So nothing easy about it. I have 2 men lined up here to tell me what they think about it, and they are, first man is representing the county champions, Kieran Drake, chairman of Abilara. So Kieran, your draw, I've seen you smiling there. I suppose you're quite happy enough there with your group there, playing Father Manning Gales in the opening round, and then you'll have Clongish, Longford Slashers, Mullinloughlin, renewing rivalry there, of course, I saw, and you'll have Rathline as well. So handy old group for you.
Look, Nick, there's nothing handy with any of the groups. I think, there are 2 even groups. Neighbours Mullinloughlin there again, tough. Clongish very tough. So it's wide open there for whoever wants it. So 2 even groups, I'd say.
And you're enjoying the glow of being senior champions. I'm sure that you have Frankie Dolan there again, staying on for 2025. Yeah.
We have, yeah. Look, we're pushing hard to try and get back to back now if possible. So.
Something hasn't been done in Abilara before?
No, we've never done back-to-back at any level in championship, so it's something we're pushing hard for this year, So
And of course, with a couple of last year's Leinster champion minors coming in, you'll feel that you're a bit even stronger than you were last year.
Yeah, a couple of young lads came in there and they're blending well into the team now. We've had a couple of older lads that have moved away, so but look, it's good to see young lads coming in there and making a good impact, you know.
Well, Kieran, thanks a million. You didn't let the side down there by agreeing with me that it was a handy group anyway. Thanks very much. And of course, the runners-up last year were close runners-up after a replay. Columkill, winners only a couple of years ago as well. I'm joined by their chairman, Barry Kennedy. And Barry, again, your group, well, I think it's a tougher group, but I would say that, wouldn't I? Because Dromard are in it, but it is Emmett O, Granard, Mostram, Columkill, yourselves, and Carrick-Edmond. There's nothing easy about that. I wouldn't like to be trying to pick the two bottom teams in that group.
No, once again, it's a tough group. The way it is in Longford football, there's never more than a kick of the ball between any team. So we would have had Emmett O, St Mary's and Mostram in our group last year, so we know them fairly well. Of course, they have a local derby now with Dromard, which we look forward to as well. And a tough opening game against Carrick-Edmond, who are going well this year as well. So, yeah, tough group.
And tell me this, obviously it was disappointing to lose a county final after a replay, but was the fact that you had won it recently, did it lessen the blow?
I wouldn't say that. We were quite sore after it, I suppose. I suppose when we look back at this time last year, when we did the draw last year, no one would have expected the Columkill Abilara final. We probably didn't do ourselves justice in the first game. Came into the replay, went to extra time. Abilara, to their credit, seemed the more hungrier side in extra time and got over the line. So, but we're building towards the championship this year. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and like Abilara, I know that you feel that you'll be even stronger this year, so and the very best of luck. And thanks to Barry Kennedy and Kieran Drake for joining us. And just before we finish up, I might call Derek Fahy back to me for a quick word. Derek, we're just up against the clock here now. So again, in Longford, the championship is wide open. As Barry Kennedy alluded to there, nobody this time last year would have said that Columkill and Abilara were going to be in the final. It's hard to pick finalists here tonight as well.
Oh, absolutely, John, and we'd be wrong to try and even preempt who would be in or possibly win this year's championship. 2 years ago, Abilara were close to relegation, but I suppose the excitement will also turn tonight to CCC. And as you know, these games take part on club grounds, and clubs grounds will be a little bit of shuffling. Can we get this game? Can we get that game? So the excitement will build over the next couple of weeks, even to see where the venues are. So we wish all the clubs every success. We thank our sponsors, Peter Hanley, the Rusty Ginn and the Lady Group, and indeed our main sponsors, Glenna Brothers. And also, John, our car draw is kicking off this year, so tickets are on sale if anybody wishes to purchase tickets. So
very good. You got the plug in for the car draw. It's out there. Thank you very much, Derek Fahy, for hosting us here this evening and having us here. Shanna said the excitement of the draw was obvious there to me. Thanks to all the delegates for your attention here tonight, and for those listening at home, I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope it's been clear. Thanks to Colin Murray for producing the show here tonight here in RSC Vreen, and thanks to Kevin back in studio. And it's back to you at base from RSC Vreen in Longford. Lovely. Just got in that.